The violin has 4 strings, and it's the vibrations going through those strings that creates the sound. So if you look, as you draw the bow across the string, you get vibrations going from side to side. And those vibrations go through the bridge, go inside the body of the instrument, and there's a little piece of wood called the sound post which connects the top to the bottom. The vibrations just have a bit of a party inside, and then they're amplified. They come out through these bits, which are the F holes. As you go up the string, the sound gets higher because the amount of string space gets shorter. So the bow is basically just a wooden stick with horsehair all the way up it. The tension is created on it by undoing and doing up this screw at the bottom. In modern bow, you always have it curved just slightly inwards, because as soon as you have a straight line, it's just too much tension in the bow and you can't really do anything with it. The Baroque bow looks very, very different. This is a bow in the style of bows from around the 18th century. So music of Bach would have been played with a bow like this. So if you look at the shapes of the 2 bows, they're very, very different. The frogs, even, they hadn't yet developed the idea of having this little slide of mother of pearl at the bottom of the frog, and there's nothing to hold the hair in place like this little piece of metal. There's a lot less power in the tip of the Baroque bow. The bow itself makes a lot less sound. And then Bach, same piece on my modern bow. Starting with the scroll of the violin, you see all sorts of different violins with different shaped scrolls. So there's a German school called Mittenwald, who they have lions on the head of the violin instead of the normal scroll shape. It's really just a box to hold onto the pegs, which are used to tune the violin. This little bit here is called the tailpiece, and that holds the strings in place. Some instruments will have these little adjusters, fine tuners, on all of the strings, and some, like mine, will just have it on the E string, because that's probably the hardest string to tune without breaking. If you look at the back, there's this little attachment called a shoulder rest. Not everybody plays with one of those, but I find for me it makes it much more comfortable and much more easy to get around the violin. Certainly back in the day when this violin was produced, you wouldn't have had a shoulder rest, and you wouldn't have had this bit here, the chin rest, either. So if you look at Baroque groups, they tend to play without any of this stuff. And this little bit here is the mute. Composers use mute to create a different sort of a sound. So playing without the mute, and the mute basically takes a lot of the vibrations out of the sound, giving us a smaller sound, but a really intimate, sort of beautiful sound. I'm not entirely sure how the shape of the violin evolved. There is a Strad that Joshua Bell used to play that is shaped a bit like a guitar, that doesn't have the bits that stick out on the sides. And certainly also dancing masters used to have pocket violins that were basically straight down, that were very little more, there was very little box to them. It's something that they could put in their pocket and take out and play when they were in the middle of their dancing lessons.